Hi, Melanie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Melissa. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. I'm well. We had a good long weekend. How about yourself?
It was good. It was nice to do some of those normal kind of long weekend things, plant flowers and enjoyed the outside for sure.
Nice. Glad to hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
was wondering, Melissa, have you found yourself, going from day to day and maybe experiencing some different things in your mind or in your body, like, maybe feeling restless one day, maybe a little lethargic the next, and maybe yet even the next a little sore here and there?
Yeah, absolutely. That actually really sounds like part of the whole experience that I have had um, during the COVID isolation time. Um, One day feels like a really good, easy day. Everything feels
Yeah.
good. The next day, I can feel really tired or irritable. Um, Physically, in my body, I will some days feel like my shoulders are aching or tension in here, in my jaw for myself when I get stressed out or when I'm feeling um, tension. I will hold my jaw tight and my shoulders up. So I notice that some days for sure.
Yeah. I've been having the same experience where from one day to the next, I'll wake up and I'll just feel a little more tighter, in my hips or in my shoulders, or maybe one day I'll have a headache, or the next day I just don't have any energy and I can't figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can be kind of weird because here we are in self-isolation. So
Yeah.
many of us are at home and we may be working from home, but, like when we first think about self-isolation, we think that, that maybe it shouldn't be as difficult. Like it feels maybe it should be kind of relaxing, kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
staycation.
Yeah.
And yet I've noticed myself just as well as you have that my body is reacting in a very different way. It's sending me a different message about what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And that really made me think about the topic that I wanted to talk about this week,
Okay.
which is the way that we respond to stress in a fight or flight mode.
Okay. I've heard of that before.
Yeah, many people have. And, um, what's said about the fight or flight mode is that it's been part of our body chemistry since beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it served us very well when we were living in caves and, having to fight for our food, or sorry, hunt for our food. And, it wasn't unusual
Mm-hmm.
to be chased down by like a saber-toothed tiger or a bear who was ready to have us for their lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the fight or flight response came in super duper handy because it changed our body's reaction so that we could quickly either fight off danger or
Mm-hmm.
run away and save ourselves. It was a survival mechanism.
Right.
Now, we don't have saber-toothed tigers chasing after us, or many of us don't even have bears chasing after us.
Yes.
But, our body can't tell the difference between whether it's a bear waiting to devour us or whether it's an unpaid bill
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's a job loss
Right.
or whether it's a friend who isn't getting back to our texts or our phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
The trouble is that when we in our brains think that something is stressful and we start to get worried about it or even afraid about it,
Mm-hmm.
our bodies will sense that fear, and it can immediately shift into the fight or flight response, which is a pretty radical response.
Yeah.
It's meant to be radical for a radical situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The trouble is that when we use that fight or flight response, when it's activated for something less life threatening, like an unpaid bill or our friend not getting back to us on text,
Mm-hmm.
then our body goes through all those changes and it eventually wears and tears on us.
Okay.
Now, the thing about this COVID-19 self-isolation protocol that we've had enforced on us for the last 2 months is
Yeah.
we are being threatened
Right.
by this tiny little microscopic virus that, if we were in contact with it, we could get really sick and end up
Yeah.
fighting for our lives.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is very reasonable for our bodies to be in the fight or flight response this last 2 months, because we are doing what we can to survive.
Right.
Part of this self-isolation is a method of flighting or fleeing or hiding from the danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the meantime, though, this gives us the understanding of why our bodies feel different from day to day. So I want
Right.
to tell you a little bit about what our bodies do when we fight or flight.
Okay.
One of the things that our bodies do is it immediately the heart starts pumping faster and stronger so that the blood is more quickly directed to our major muscles and organs,
Okay.
because we need those to run or to fight.
Right. So as my heart starts to race?
Yes.
Okay.
That might also be why you feel really hot and sweaty, even though the room temperature hasn't changed.
Right.
That might also be why your fingers and toes get really cold. Your body isn't going to pump blood to fingers and toes. They're going to pump blood to the major organs that allow you to really, like I said, either run really fast,
Yeah.
or fight off the danger.
Okay.
Our lungs also start to react by pumping more and more oxygen into our body,
Okay.
so that we have more energy to, again, fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those things can leave our head feeling a little dizzy or lightheaded.
Okay.
Yeah. Our senses become super spidey.
Yes.
So we get really acute vision, very acute hearing. We might even feel, we can almost feel the wind against our skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, because when we're in danger, we're ready to look for the nearest weapon, the
Right.
nearest exit, the nearest anything that can help us to survive.
Right. Melanie, some of these things that you have described, even when I'm just going to the grocery store now and I'm in my car and I sanitize my hands in my car and I get my mask ready and things like that, I have noticed that my hands have felt sweaty. I have like the butterflies in my stomach. I feel hot and like a little bit sweaty. And that's not a normal response for me going to the grocery store, but that's how I feel now.
Yeah. Because 6 months ago, going to the grocery store, it never even crossed your mind that there could be a danger there,
Right.
that could be putting your health at risk.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 months, that truly is the fact that going to the grocery store allows us to then be exposed to whatever virus or sickness or, whatever's been brought into that store. So your body is telling you to be aware
Right.
that there could be danger in that place. Yeah. So it's
That's
trying to get you to
refreshing.
survive. Yes, it's
Yeah.
doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. The other thing about the fight or flight response, though, is there's many things that are activated, but there's also things that are deactivated. So you know how
Okay.
you said you had those butterflies in your belly?
Yeah.
That's because when you're ready to fight or flight a danger, your body shuts off your digestive system.
Wow.
Yeah, because you don't need to digest food when you're ready to go.
Right.
Like, you just got to go.
Mm.
And so it'll shut that digestive system off, which can cause a feling of nausea or butterflies.
Right.
It can cause a person to have troubles with their bowels,
Mm-hmm.
like either they got to go right now, or actually they end up not being able to go for a while, like a
Right.
constipation kind of effect.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might even feel like they have to throw up when they're under stress like that.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, like our
Very.
body, yeah, our bodies do amazing things to keep us surviving.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if our bodies are constantly relating to the fight or flight response, if we
Mm-hmm.
don't have a break from it, over the long term, we can start developing problems, illnesses like high
Okay.
blood pressure, chronic headaches, chronic pain. We can start getting heart disease, different things that over the long term,
Mm-hmm.
a person could really struggle with.
Right.
So even in this time during the coronavirus, when we know that there are threats out there, it's
Yes.
still really important to take the time to calm our body down.
Okay. That was going to be my question. So Melanie, what do you suggest we do?
Yeah. You know what? The fastest way to calm your body down is to
Mm-hmm.
just take a deep breath. Just a
Wow.
real deep filling up your belly, right up to the top of your throat, breath. And I find that I need to take 5 of them actually to
Mm-hmm.
feel a difference. And the reason why that works so quickly is because your body's fight or flight response goes into a short, shallow breath.
Oh,
So
okay.
as soon as your brain detects that your body is actually breathing deep and long,
Mm-hmm.
it's signaled to think, well, hey, if I'm doing that, then I can't be in any danger.
Right.
I must be safe. So it's a cue, it's a physical cue to reverse the system in your body and just say, okay, body, it's time to chill.
Okay. I love that. And again, you have your breath with you everywhere.
Everywhere.
You could
Yes.
chill out anywhere. Chill out
Anywhere.
a bit.
Absolutely. It's automatic and it's right there for you.
Yeah.
Then I also encourage people to find a way to laugh.
Okay.
Now, when I say laugh, at the time when you want to either fight or flight,
Yeah.
what I'm actually proposing is something called opposite action.
Okay.
So Dr. Marsha Linehan, who developed the dialectical behavioral therapy for people,
Mm-hmm.
she proposed this opposite action, which means if you're feeling scared, do an action or do something that makes you feel the opposite emotion, which is
Okay.
feeling humorous.
Right.
Instead of yelling, you laugh.
Laugh.
Instead of crying, you smile or you laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I really encourage people to search out things that can make them laugh, whether it's a silly joke, laughing about themselves, watching something on the internet that
Mm-hmm.
is just really comical. Netflix has a bunch of comedy series,
Yeah.
yeah, just whatever makes you laugh, do it. And it'll help that flight or fight response again to just settle down, because you ain't gonna be laughing if you're faced with a saber-toothed tiger.
No kidding. Excellent. Laughter is great.
Yes, yes. And then another suggestion that I make, to do things that you enjoy,
Yes.
whether it's like
Absolutely.
you said, a walk outside or planting flowers, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going for a bike ride, or even doing a crossword puzzle, anything that you enjoy, that you find pleasurable.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, when you enjoy it, you're going to be relaxed. You're going to be focused in on
Absolutely.
that activity, and you're going to be automatically relaxing your body and your mind because it's pleasurable.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
agree with you. Do
Yeah.
little things.
Yeah. The
Mm-hmm.
last suggestion I have is to do a mindfulness.
Okay.
So I'd like to do that with you today. There are a bunch of different mindfulness practices out there.
Yeah.
And next week, we're going to talk even more about that.
Okay.
Yep. So next week, we'll have even a more comprehensive section on, or a session on mindfulness. But today, what I'd
Okay.
like to do is, I think it's called the progressive muscle relaxation.
Okay.
In this mindfulness, I'm going to take people through their whole body from toe to head, although I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably going to skip a few parts of the body just because I don't want to make this too long for anybody.
Okay.
If anybody wanted a longer progressive muscle relaxation, I'm sure there's like 45-minute ones on the internet if you just Google
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Google that. Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Okay.
But this one I'm going to take you through. And the reason why I'm doing this one is because every time we go through a body part, I'm going to ask you to tense the body part first
Okay.
and feel how it feels tensed up. And then I'm going to ask you to intentionally relax that part of your body.
Okay.
And what I want people to see is the difference between what does it feel like when I'm tensed and what does it feel like when I'm relaxed.
Okay.
Because you know what I have found doing this, Melissa,
Mm-hmm.
is I don't say to myself, oh, that's what it feels like to be tense. Actually, that's the part that feels normal to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's when I relax, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's how good it feels to be relaxed.
yes. Yes, no kidding. In
That's
those moments where I am feeling like, oh, my shoulders are really like up high, intense. And then when I
yes.
make myself relax to feel the difference, it's night and day.
It is. And it really is truly like eye-opening for me to realize how tense I have lived that day
Yeah,
or that moment. Like, yeah, it's so crazy how we can get used to being so physically tense.
being that tense. All right, I'm ready.
All right, good. Okay, so let's get both feet on the floor,
Okay.
nice and relaxed and comfortable in your chair. And just, again, close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. If not, just focus on a spot in the wall right ahead of you that won't move and just softly gaze towards that spot. I'm going to ask you to just first focus on your breath as it comes into your body and out of your body. There's no need to change your breath in any way. Just focusing on how it comes in to your mouth, into your throat, down into your body, into your belly, maybe even noticing how it builds your body up like a big balloon. And then as you're breathing out, noticing how your belly flattens and the air moves through your belly, up to your throat and out of your mouth. And just keep breathing in and out. And if any other thoughts, emotions, or physical sensations come to mind, just acknowledging them, thanking them for being there, and moving your attention back to your breath. Your breath is there for you. So no matter what distraction there is, a sound, a thought, a feeling, know that you can always come back to focus on your breath as a center for your attention, a grounding for yourself. And then I want to ask you to bring your attention down to your toes. And I want you just for 5 seconds or so, less if you can, it's okay, to scrunch up your toes. Tense your toes right up to the pads of your feet. For 5 seconds, feel that tension in your toes. And then intentionally let go and relax. Notice how that feels to untense your toes, how the blood rushes back into your toes and fills it with energy and heat again. I'm going to ask you to do that one more time. Tense and curl up your toes towards the bottoms of your feet as hard as you can, as tense as you can without hurting yourself. And then gradually let go and feel as your skin, as your bones and your muscles just move back to the relaxed position. And see if you feel any differently. And then I'm going to ask you to move up to your calves. And as much as you can, tense up the muscles of your calf for 5 seconds. Tense as hard as you can. Feel every muscle and ligament tensing in, squeezing into the calves. And then intentionally letting go. Feeling the difference as that blood moves back into the muscles, back into the ligaments as you let go and let your calves relax. Moving up to the thighs. Thinking about the thighs and thinking about all the muscles, some of the very biggest muscles of your body. And I want you to take a moment to tense those muscles up as hard as you can. Tense them up. Squeeze them together like as if you're squeezing a ball between your thighs. Squeeze for 5 seconds. And then intentionally let go and relax. And feel the difference. Feel the difference in your thighs, in your legs. Is there a difference from when you started? We're going to keep moving up our body, and now we'll move to our belly. And as much as you can, I'm going to ask you to tense your muscles in your belly. Squeeze those muscles as if you're holding your breath. For 5 seconds, squeeze all the muscles inside of your belly. And then relax and let that go. Smoothing out, softening those muscles. letting them again have access to the blood and the oxygen inside of your body, and feel how different that is. We're going to move up to your shoulders. And I want you to, as much as possible, tense your shoulders, move your shoulders as far up to your ears, touching your earlobes if possible, and squeeze them up to your ears for 5 seconds, tensing and holding. Then intentionally relaxing, bringing those shoulders down. Feeling how that is when you let your shoulders relax farther away from your earlobes. From the shoulders, let's go down the arms to the biceps and squeeze the biceps as hard as you can, like as if you're Popeye, showing those muscles off to everybody. Squeeze them together, tense them, and then intentionally let them go and relax to your sides. Notice how that feels different. How the relaxation response is different from the tension. And then moving down to your forearms, try to tense all of the muscles of your forearms, tensing the muscles and the tendons and the joints and everything that you can, just squeezing as hard as you can together. And then intentionally relaxing your forearms, noticing how heavy they feel after you intentionally relax them. They might feel a bit warmer. They might feel a bit more bubbly or like clay-like, or just heavy against your thighs or wherever you're resting them. And then I want you to move to your fingers and your palms. We use these so often in our day. I want you to squeeze your fingers together in a fist and squeeze your fingers together as hard as you can. Tense those fists as hard as you can. And then slowly and intentionally relaxing your fingers and your palm, bringing blood back into your palms, noticing how that feels. Do they feel a bit cool or warm? A little prickly? Or do they feel numb? However they feel, that's the relaxation response that is right for you. And now we'll go back up to the jaw. Let's focus on our jaw for a little while. Oh, our jaw is so often tense when we're stressed. So let's purposely tense our jaws, stress out our jaws by closing our mouth and grinding down into our teeth and clenching our jaw as hard as we can. Be careful that you don't chip any teeth. Clench those teeth as hard as you can. And then slowly and intentionally let them relax. And let your jaw and your tongue just drop. Just completely relax. Even leaving your mouth a little open, allowing that full relaxation response, and see how it's different. See if your jaw, your body, your mind, what changes and differences do you notice? And we'll move up to my favorite, which is the eyes. I know I squeeze and tension my eyes so much during the day that I want to just focus on the eyes for a moment. And so for the next 5 seconds, squeeze them tight, tense those eyelids as much as you can, and just squeeze them as hard as you can. You might even get your nose in there as you're kind of like a little rabbit, and just squeezing your nose and your eyelids and your eyes all together and your eyebrows. And then intentionally relaxing and softening your eyes, softening your nose, letting that part between your eyebrows just relax, and feeling how that feels as your eyelids and your eyes just lose the stress and lose the tension. And the last part that we'll do is the forehead. The forehead that so often shows our concern, our anger, our curiosity, all of the weights of the day. I'm going to ask you to tense your forehead as much as you can, which may involve your eyes, or even just imagining the tension of your forehead, just focusing in on that part and imagining the muscles and the skin being tensed up and tight and taut. And then slowly, intentionally relaxing that spot. Noticing how your scalp just relaxes, your forehead relaxes. Your ears might even feel like they're a little lower on your face now, because you've just allowed your body to experience from toe to head total relaxation. Now take a scan of your body before we end. Notice any changes. Notice any changes in the way you're breathing, in the way your body parts feel, in the way that they fit together, or the way that they feel against the chair or the ground that you're stepping on. And scan your mind as well. What's changed in your mind? What's changed in your attention, your focus, your thoughts, your feelings? Maybe nothing, and that's okay. And maybe there's something. Whatever it is, it's a part of you. It's with you. And maybe it's teaching you something. And as this mindfulness comes to a close, I ask you to gradually take in the sounds around you. Move in whatever way feels comfortable. And as you're ready, slowly open your eyes and return back to the discussion.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Melissa. How was that?
Really good. Do you know
Really nice.
my favorite part about that was that it was a little bit humorous for me, like squeeze, 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 squeeze. And so at the beginning of this, you shared about laughing and laughter. And while I was still very much mindful and in my body and feeling those sensations, there was also an element of laughter and smiling there. So I really like that.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I was thinking is people should do this and video themselves, because I'm sure that while I was squishing my eyelids together as much as possible, people could see me, and I'm sure I gave everybody a good laugh.
Yes, me too. I was thinking about that too. Like, I must look so silly right now, and that's okay.
Absolutely. The best thing to laugh about is ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. And just feel the blood come
yes
and those things that you were describing, and the actual like relaxation, like to even feel the relaxation in my hands and everything was.
Yep. Now, just as a side note, that can be a really good mindfulness for when people are struggling to get to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mindfulness is not meant to put you to sleep. It's actually meant to give you a better sense of alertness and focus and attention. But sometimes a side effect of mindfulness is so relaxing that the side effect is to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
That one can be a really nice one, because you purposely tense and then you purposely relax.
Yeah. And you could really go into the relaxation for that.
Yeah. And you know, that fight or flight response really can interrupt our sleep patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It can be really difficult for people to fall asleep or to stay asleep throughout the whole night. And so that kind of a mindfulness could come in really handy during those difficulties at night.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Melanie. I appreciate it.
I'm glad that you liked it, and I hope everyone else really enjoys it and gets benefit from it.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
And we will see Melanie and everyone back for more mindfulness next week.
Yeah, we'll actually be focusing on mindfulness, and I'll tell you a little bit about the benefits of mindfulness and why we even suggest it or encourage it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Melanie. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you and starting the week next week.
Me too. Have a great week, Melissa.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone. Have a good week.